What's up, Facebook? What's up, YouTube? I appreciate y'all so much. Thank you guys for being here. Hope you have a beautiful Monday. Hope we have an amazing week. Excuse me. But I want to talk about Gibraltar because Gibraltar's interesting. A lot of times on here, I said, man, I wish we could do an experiment where 100% of the population on an island or somewhere, got the vaccine so we could see what happened. And Gibraltar is kind of that. I don't know that it's an island. I don't believe it is. But in general, let me look actually. Now I'm interested. But Gibraltar is about now. It looks more like a peninsula on this map. But Gibraltar has over 99% vaccination rate, over 99% fully vaccination rate, and it's not going away. And now they're canceling Christmas because it's not going away, and they're acting like it's going to go away. So I just find that fascinating. I think this news needs to get out there because I'm really interested in the data and this 100% vaccination goal that they're forcing people to get, which is strange to me because listen, I'm no scientist, I'm no expert, but I know about placebo groups and control groups. When you're doing an experiment, you can't just like punch 10 out of 10 kids in the face and be like, oh, where's the kids who didn't get punched? I mean, that's a dumb example, but you get what I'm saying. It's like you need to compare it to something. That's what a scientific experiment. Let's try this, and then we'll compare the results. It's like, let's just get everyone in the world to do it, and then it's really it's effective, isn't it? It's like, yeah, it's not really how science works, but whatever. I guess we could pretend like that's how it works or something if like we just delete everybody off the face of the earth who doesn't do it. But I'm just wondering like when this is going to stop, because once again, as people are coming in, Gibraltar is nearly 100%, over 99% fully vaccinated. The population, before I start, the population of Gibraltar is 33,691 roughly. The amount of vaccine doses given is 94,000, almost 3 times as many vaccines given as amount of people there. And over 99% of people have been fully vaccinated, aka double vaccinated, aka not fully vaccinated, because now you're going to need the third and the fourth and on and on. But before we start, I want to drink my coffee. Sorry, I'm a little parched out here, folks. But more importantly, I thought this picture was funny. I thought it was Photoshop because it looks so stupid. Like, it looks like, I don't know. First of all, I mean, you can see the Rudolph in there. You see Rudolph, her eyes look dead. Like she's got those dead eyes, dead cat lady eyes, but that's okay. She's a governor. What does my opinion matter? She's a respected woman. God bless her. Let's not joke about her because she's really, really cool and really trustworthy. And just, I already feel bad for saying that because, like, this is the type of leader that I want in my life world. Who's going to take on China and Russia and, our foreign competitors? This lady's going to do it. But I posted this on Instagram and YouTube and, well, not YouTube, but now I'm on YouTube. You get what I'm saying? Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. And I said, what do you think this is the new pop star? What do you think the name of the new edgy pop star is? I came up with the names Lady Gag Gag and Rudolph the Fed-Nosed Reindeer. I thought that was pretty funny. Rudolph the Fed-Nosed Reindeer. Rudolph the Fed-Nosed Reindeer had a very shiny mask. And if you wanted low taxes, she'll call you a white supremacist. Then one fine, foggy COVID Eve, COVID came to stay. No matter how many vaccinations and masks you wear, you're never gonna reach zero COVID, stupid. It's a song. I don't know. I heard it on Spotify, but it got removed for medical disinformation. So now I have to get it out of my brain because I don't want people to think I'm right wing. Anyway, so I just want to show y'all real quick. And sorry, YouTube, I always go first. Facebook, I feel bad. I got more viewers and I never get it right. So I printed this out backwards. So it's forwards. So this is COVID, right? Here, this is Gibraltar, one of the most vaccinated countries in the world. This is last year around December. Whoa, that's like, that looks like a chimney. Maybe Santa went, maybe that's why it's there. Maybe Santa needs to go down the COVID chimney to give all the kids the gifts or something. That's what I would say if I was the president of Gibraltar. I'm like, don't worry, kids. It's just Santa's chimney. We'll get better. We'll get better in February. That's why I don't get elected to these offices. People run for office. Like, let's not go there. All right. So this is now, right? They're starting to spike, and it looks like they're going upwards. Maybe they'll get higher than there, maybe not, but they're not at zero. That's the point I'm trying to get. And if you feel that's out, well, Anomaly only likes Facebook today. Stop playing. I got your graph here too. You can see it as well. You know what I'm saying? Santa's chimney, and then this is like right now. Okay, so they're going back up. You guys get it? Listen, this is a very high quality production I'm doing here. And people say, "Oh, you should get better stuff." I probably should, but I think it's funny when I get like 500,000 views and I do this, and Don Lemon has like 20 staff members running in circles. They're like, huh. They got all these graphics and nobody cares about it. I think it's funnier when I use papers and I get like 500,000 views. So I'm just gonna keep doing it until the wheels fall off the wagon, as they say. But anyway, so long story short, Gibraltar's cases are spiking despite the fact that they have nearly almost 3 times as many vaccines as people there, and they're 99% vaccinated. Let's read this article from the Express. It says, Gibraltar cancels Christmas celebrations amid COVID spike. While the government strongly has called upon the public to exercise their own judgment, they have strongly advised against any social events for at least the next 4 weeks, discouraging people from holding private Christmas events. So the government's saying, we'll let you do your thing, which is nice, I guess. But they're like, you probably shouldn't even have a private Christmas event. They're trying to tell people, I guess their version of Fauci is like, yeah, just pack it in this year. We got, 50 something cases or however many they have today. I don't remember, but they have a small population. So it's different percentages. I want to read this real quick, and then I'll say my piece. This is Slate. This is from April 27th, 2021. This is some like hipster idiot journalist. I'm not trying to be mean, but like it's like this snarky piece about how great it is to live in a fully vaccinated country. Like Slate, it says from Joseph Busca. Sorry, buddy. What life is like in a fully vaccinated country. A sense of relief, but also some guilt. In small places, everything is amplified. The highs are higher and the lows are lower. 3 months ago, I was living in the country's world's highest COVID vaccination rate. Today, I'm in the safest place on earth and my home hasn't moved an inch. Yet on a deeply personal level, the return to normality feels a little bit more than disturbing. He's like, I feel bad. I feel so bad. I'm in the greatest place in the world. We have 100%, almost 100% vaccination rate. Like, I almost feel guilty that I'm so safe right now. It's like, oh man, Slate's really killing it. Man, I got to get a subscription to this site. I wonder why they hate like Joe Rogan and like Ben Shapiro and people on like Facebook. It's like, I feel a little bit guilty for being in the safest place in the world. I mean, we all have our vaccines, booster shots out the wazoo, but just something feels a little guilty. I have my white guilt is just really packing in this holiday season. It's like, dude, shut up. But we get it. It's like they were getting real cocky before. They're like, we're so safe here because we all got it. And here's the interesting thing. If you look at the chart, I'm just going to hold up the Facebook one. Oh, upside down. Whoa. If you look at the chart, okay, this happened around December. And then this is like the beginning of December. It's not December yet, November. So here's a crazy idea, okay? So they talk about climate change all the time, right? Climate change is real. Let's talk about it. You got summer, fall, winter, spring, the climate, the sunrise, sunset. I love climate change. The climate's always changing. There's no disagreeing with that. You got to be a conspiracy theorist. How come they never talk about like the seasons? Like obviously we could talk about complex world climate, but like maybe I'm just going to throw this out there. I'm not trying to get my Facebook live streams taken away again, but maybe during the winter in certain areas, maybe there's going to be more cases of the common cold. Maybe there's going to be more cases of the flu. And maybe, just maybe, there's going to be more cases of COVID during the winter in some areas. Whoa! We need a new NPR article. My name is Charles Molecule. I write for NPR, and this conspiracy theorist on Facebook is beating me in my corporation, and I'm so mad. And they told me to write this piece, even though I get paid trash salary. I'm like their little hit boy. It's like, he made a conspiracy theory that seasons exist and that people might get sicker in certain points. He's denying COVID. It's like, shut up. Maybe every year in Gibraltar, there's going to be a spike in COVID. Whoa, maybe it's not going to go away like the flu. We've had the flu vaccine since the 1940s, and the flu has gone nowhere, okay? It didn't disappear until COVID came. Where is it? There's a twindemic coming. Where'd it go? It's like, you can't even say that anymore. Like, they're going to play this stupid game with everybody for the rest of your lives. It's winter. The cases go up. Hey, guys, let's just cancel Christmas. Like, let's not admit that the product that we sold to you isn't eliminating the virus like we told you it probably would 8 months ago. Let's not blame ourselves who took 11 to 12 billion dollars of government funding, probably more if you factor in foreign governments, tens of billions of dollars in funding for this product. That we then pushed on you that clearly is not eliminating the virus. And then it comes back every winter. We're going to take zero accountability. Let's just blame you. Let's just blame the virus. It's like, maybe it's just going to spike every winter. I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe it won't. Okay. But maybe it will. So this is the question people got to ask themselves. When is this going to end for you if we're playing a game that goes like this? It's like a roller coaster. And there's a certain coaster that's not a coaster, but it spins in a circle. It's called a carousel. And the carousel, it doesn't stop until someone hits the stop button. So you're playing this game where it's a lifelong course that possibly, if it's seasonal or bi-seasonal or whatever, you know what I'm saying? If it's never going to go away like the flu and the common cold, people don't realize the common cold, the CDC estimates that the average individual catches the common cold 2 to 3 times a year. If so many people are catching the common cold, why don't we reach herd immunity? If vaccines for the flu are so great, how come we didn't reach herd immunity? The point I'm getting to is, despite even with natural immunity and with vaccination, there's certain things that we haven't been able to eliminate. And I mean, this is a different sort of disease, but cancer and other diseases, there's certain things we'd love a cure for, but it just doesn't seem like we can snap our fingers and be like, okay, it's done. It's gone. It's gone. It's erased. It's gone off the planet. I wish they had that technology. Seriously, Alzheimer's is an evil thing. Cancer is an evil thing. These are horrible things. I wish we could just snap our fingers and make it go away, but Fauci and the media and even Donald Trump, I saved everybody from the Spanish flu, okay? I saved the whole world, okay? Everybody would have died if it weren't for my Operation Warp Speed, okay? The only way to beat Big Pharma is to give them a bunch of money, okay? We can't beat the deep state unless we work with them, okay? Even all of these people, Fauci, Trump, the media, mostly left-wing media, but a lot of right-wing, they sold this thing to you as you can't possibly question it. And the whole world was saved by this product. But they're not even talking about how that's not how cures work for anything ever. That's never how anything ever worked ever. We say it's cured, even though it hasn't even been created yet, although we're working on it because we just gave tens of billions of dollars, and the NIH owns joint patent of Moderna. Moderna and the NIH are now beefing because the NIH is like, we own the patent, and Moderna's like, no, you don't. So there's a lot of money being made by Pfizer, by Moderna. The government's trying to get their piece of the pie. You can't, that's not how things work. I mean, they could lie and cancel my page or something. That is how it works. When we want to cure something, it's cured immediately. It's no, that's not how it works. You can't just say it's gone. That's what they did. And they lied. They were like, we're going to make this thing and then you could go back to normal. We're going to make this thing. You could take off your mask. We're going to make this thing. It's going to disappear. We're going to make this thing. And if you're vaccinated, you're going to. Well, it's turning out in the most vaccinated place in the world by percentage, Gibraltar, nearly 100% vaccination rate, over 99%. It's not going away. And here's the crazy thing. Like the common cold and like the flu, it might never go to zero. It might never go away because there's certain things that just don't go away ever, like diabetes, heart disease, common cold, which is, from my knowledge, made from a coronavirus, the flu, which is different, but you get it. These things don't just disappear. People get sick. Okay, that's terrible. It sucks. What's the solution? Treat everybody like a slave. Put Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer on top of a mask looking like a psychopath. And let's make the kids fatter. Stress is going up, fear is going up, diabetes is going up, heart disease is, all of these things are people are not taking care of themselves, being scared into oblivion, being, fattened into oblivion, cut off access to health facilities. Oh yeah, that's a real, how stupid are people? And if people keep going along with this stuff, it's when do you think it's going to end? Here's my little game that I have. That's not really a game. It's just common sense. Everywhere across the country, people are being force tested, force masked, force vaccinated. Even though we see in countries like Gibraltar, that is a great scientific experiment, almost 100% vaccination rate, the virus is not going away. In fact, seasonally, it looks like it's spiking just like it did last year at the same exact time about. Okay, so here's the questions to ask your boss, and here's the answers that they're going to give you. When do I stop getting tested weekly? I don't know, Jim. I'm just following orders like a dumb sheep, so I'm making you do it because I'm an idiot with no, whatever. Okay, cool. When can I take my mask off, boss? Is there an end date? We don't know, Jim. I'm sorry. I'm a dumb idiot sheep, so I'm just force masking you, and I have no idea why or how or what the metrics are. Okay, so if we don't have an end date for this. No, I'm just following corporate orders. Okay, does corporate have an end date? Oh, well, no, they won't tell me. Okay, so what are you, just an idiot then? Okay, so is there a metric? Is there like a vaccination rate? Are we trying to reach 100% vaccination rate like Gibraltar? I'm not sure. They haven't really made that clear. Okay, so is there a case rate? Do we want zero COVID? Because it actually might not be possible, but we could try and lie like New Zealand and Australia and treat their citizens like prisoners, and figure out that the spike goes the other way and they're just screwing people over. Oh, no, I don't know if there's a case rate. Is it county based? I don't know. Is there a death rate? I don't know. There are no metrics to this, folks, because if you follow the metrics in countries that are 100% vaccinated or near 100% vaccinated, it doesn't go away. So it's never going away. What part of this do people not understand? Well, what should I do? I'm like, I don't know. I'm not going to tell you what to do medically, because as far as like what you put into your body, supplements, vaccines, that's on you. I don't tell people what to eat and drink. If someone has like a soda in their hand, I don't slap it out of their hand and call them a conspiracy theorist. Like, if you want to suck down high fructose corn syrup, I get it. I've had, I don't know, thousands of sodas in my life. I know what the shit tastes like, excuse my language, but it's not a foreign object to me. I'm a degenerate. I go to Taco Bell and get Baja Blast. It's disgusting, but it tastes good. Whatever. Okay, I've done it too many times to mention. I'm ashamed of myself. Taco Bell sucks, but Baja, there's something special about that disgusting Baja Blast. I've slurped it down too. But anyway, I don't tell people what to do, but here's what I want to tell people. And this is only because it's the truth. If you think you're just like doing 2 and it's over, that's not what's going on. If you think you're just doing like 3 and it's over, that's not what's going on. If you think you're just like wearing a mask for a month, you get what I'm saying? It doesn't make any sense. It would be like your boss being like, you don't have any vacation days this year. And you're like, why? They're like, I don't know. They're like, you might get one sometime. And you're like, when? I don't know. It's like, is there like a certain like sales bonus I have to hit? No, I don't know. It's like, nothing in life works this way. They don't have a reason or a date, because it's never going away. Think of it like the Patriot Act. Think of it like income taxes. It's here to stay forever, because every data under the sun, whether you go to Singapore with over 80% vaccination rate, whether you go to Gibraltar with over a 99% vaccination rate, whether you go to Vermont, one of the states, the most vaccinated states in the country, no matter where you go in the world, whether it be Sweden and India, which is taking a lighter approach, or Singapore and Gibraltar, which is taking a heavier handed approach, there's no data anywhere that says 100% vaccination rate is going to equal zero COVID. It's a lie. It doesn't exist. You're not reaching zero COVID. Maybe eventually, but you're not reaching it with 100% vaccination rate of a vaccine that doesn't stop you from getting or spreading the virus. That's the science. I'm not going to say it's settled science, but it's much more settled than the bullshit that they're saying. So how is this ever going to end? You get what I'm saying? They've branded something that's potentially seasonal or bi-seasonal as something that they can eliminate with a product that doesn't eliminate it. It's like third grade math. It's like it leads to an 8 sideways. Do you know what an 8 sideways looks like? It's the infinity symbol. You know why? Because you just keep doing it like a racetrack and you're like, oh, I'm almost there. And it never ends. That's what this is going to be like, literally. I'm not trying to be like edgy, like, oh my God, I just got intel from an alien who told me that this is going to last forever. Oh, I'm a prophet, throw me your money. It's like, no, this is just so obvious. Like, how else would it possibly end? That's why I say no to like 99.99% of this stuff. I'm not an animal. I don't need to shove a freaking thing up my nose every week to prove to you that I'm healthy. Like, what the hell is this? People are like, oh, I guess I got to do it for a little while. A little while? You think this is going to be a little while? What part of 15 days for 2 years to slow a little? It's not. How is it going to be? You get what I'm saying? And the easiest way to dissect through this, regardless of what you do, is just ask a basic question. Like, if I work at a business, and I know it's not easy because I work for Facebook, not like literally directly, but I get money from there and YouTube, and these people don't answer me either. So I know what it's like to have a boss that doesn't give a shit about you. But in general, it's just like, hey, like, what's the end date to this? It's actually kind of funny because they're like, we don't know. Okay, is there like a metric, a vaccine metric? We don't. Okay, if we reached 100% vaccination rate and COVID disappears, then what? Oh, we don't know. Well, are we doing it by count? We don't know. We don't know. So what are you then? What type of boss just like doesn't even know what he's doing? It's like That's how you end up looking like this, folks. When you don't know what you're doing and you're just following orders, you're like, see how happy I am? I'm a happy woman. Nobody's happier than me. I prefer it like this. This is comfortable for you. If you want to do this, more power to you. You look, I mean, I'm going to be honest. If and I'm not trying to be rude, but if this was like a Christmas ornament at a store, I wouldn't buy it. But you know, I'm sure. Oh, my alarm's going off. Sorry. I'm sure somebody would buy it. It just wouldn't be me. In fact, I'd like take it and throw it on the ground because it looks cursed to me. It looks like a voodoo. I would think someone was trying to put a hex on me, but someone out there would buy an ornament like this. It's just not me. If you want to walk around and pretend like this is more comfortable than just breathing normally, you could do that. But I'm not doing it. So I don't. You know, it's like I actually prefer it. You know what? I prefer this. God made this. I know it's a little flawed. I apologize, but you know, I have some naval passage problems or whatever, nasal passage problems. So I can't even breathe that well anyway. So I feel super claustrophobic when I have the shit on. I feel like I'm in a, and it sucks and it's wet and it's moist and it's disgusting and I hate it. And I haven't done it in like 6 months because I haven't had to, but you get what I'm saying? Like, I don't like it and I'm not going to pretend like I like it. And you're not going to like force it on my face. Like that's what you would do to like a slave. You're like, come here, boy. And you're like, go work. And if you don't get this injection, you can't work. It's like, no. And if enough people do it, it's going to last forever. I wish it wouldn't. Seriously. Like, once again, I want to drop a new single on Spotify called I Told You So. I might, you know, just kidding. But in general, I don't know. I feel like I talk to people in April and stuff, and they're like, oh, we're going to go back to normal in like June. And I'm like, no. And they're like, yeah, no, like things are just going to come back. And I'm like, why do you think they're going to come back? I don't know. I'm like following what they're saying. And it's like, if I tell you, hey, you know, you're playing Mario, and if you collect 10 coins, you know, I'll give you like a free smoothie. And you're like, oh, that's like, you know, it's something you can like achieve. You're like, oh, I could collect 10 coins in Mario and I'll achieve a smoothie. But it's like, if I was like, you need to collect 1,000,000 coins in Mario, but also 17, you know, Schnargoyles. And then you're like, what's a Schnargoyle? And I'm like, shut the hell up and just go do it. And you're like, no, I've never heard of a Schnargoyle. I play Mario my whole life, but I've never collected one Schnargoyle. How am I going to collect 8? I'm like, dude, you're starting to sound like Joe Rogan. You're starting to sound like Alex Jones. Go collect the Schnargoyles, and then I'll give you your prize. They're like, they don't exist. That's why I know this stuff. I'm not a wizard. I'm not a prophet. They're creating an equation, a mathematical equation, and a scientific equation that doesn't exist. It's like, if you do this, you can get this, but that isn't possible. It might not be possible. If you get 100% vaccination rate, you know, COVID will disappear. No, it won't. If you do this, it might be seasonal. It might never go away. So it's like, how do I know this stuff? How do I know that because they're telling you to play a game that doesn't work. It's ridiculous. On that note, real quick, I forget what I was gonna say. Someone texted me. Oh yeah, I remember. I saw on SNL they did this Joe Rogan skit. Hold on, my coffee's still warm. I want to say. Someone said I feel bad for our children. I do too as well. But this is the time to, you know, keep them away from these medical authoritarian psychopaths. But all right, so real quick, Pete Davidson, you know, on SNL, they did what Terry Bradshaw did. And this is what the media does. It's like this propaganda machine. They just keep lying and lying and lying, and they just keep repeating the lie. So if like Don Lemon says it and SNL says it, and they say it on ESPN or wherever sports broadcasting, Terry Bradshaw, that's like the definition of propaganda. It's like, it's not true, but if you say it enough, if it's big enough, if you make the lie big enough and widespread enough, then people will just start repeating it like zombies and they don't even know what they're talking about. And I have to say this one because I feel like whether you're left wing or right wing or you love Stephen Colbert, if anybody watches that is on the fence about this type of stuff from somebody that has no stake in the game for this medical product or anything, I just want to explain to people how they're being misled, and hopefully some people can figure it out, because it's getting really embarrassing for the left wing. It's like, I don't think the right wing's right about everything, but it's like, they're lying to you. I don't know what to tell you. Like, if you watch SNL, you're being misled. Anyway, you know, they made fun of Joe Rogan. They keep using the thing, horse dewormer, cow dewormer, with the hopes of making people feel like Joe Rogan is going to like a store and just eating like horse paste. You know, they're like, he's just sucking down horse paste. Like, it sounds disgusting. If I believe them, I'd be like, yo, Joe Rogan is a psycho. Like, he's misleading people. He's telling people to go to the store and like suck down horse paste, and that's disgusting. And as somebody who doesn't, the product is called ivermectin. As somebody that I don't promote it, I don't like it. I don't know anything about it. Like it's not a product that I would tell people to take for anything or COVID, because I don't know shit about, excuse my language. I don't know anything about pharmacy stuff. It's not my expertise to tell people what to do or not. But here's the thing. I went on the CDC website and they have a section. Hold on one second. I'm going to find the exact name of the section. And you could do this yourself. If you Google overseas refugee health guidance on the CDC website, you get to this page where the CDC has a bunch of guidelines that they give to refugees in order to come into this country. And the word ivermectin is on the CDC website for use in humans 47 times. And the way you find that is if you go to like edit and the find button. If you go to edit on your browser and click find, you could type in a word and see how many times it comes up on the page. That word comes up, that medicine comes up 47 times for the use in humans. So does it work for COVID? I have no idea. India seems to think so. Joe Rogan seems to think so. What's his name? Aaron Rodgers seems to think so. I don't know, because I haven't really looked at that data, and I'm not really interested in it, to be honest. Personally, I got bigger fish. I won't say bigger fish to fry, like I'm so special, but I have different, things that interest me, and that's just not one of them. So I haven't really done a deep dive on it. So I'm not telling you the product works. I'm not saying it works for this. I'm not saying it works for that. But if you're running around because you're listening to Pete Davidson and Don Lemon and Anderson Cooper and Terry Bradshaw say horse pace and cow dewormer, you sound really stupid to smart people, because the guy who made it won a Nobel Prize and they use it in humans for other stuff. I'm not saying it works for COVID because I don't know that, but it's not like a horse paste where it's only for that. It's something that they use it in animals and humans, but there's a human version that Joe takes, and there's a human version that refugees take all the time, and there's a human version that's on the CDC's own website 47 times. So I say this as a way to like break the programming for people. You don't have to think it works for COVID. You don't have to think it's amazing. But this idea that you think he's just slurping down animal stuff, it's like, this is straight propaganda. And this is how they get away with it, because they all say it. They're all controlled. They all, I'm not Joe Rogan, Pete Davidson, this person, that person, sport. They're just saying it over and over and over again. And I know people that have like come up to me, and I've never, keep in mind before this, like I don't even talk about this product because it's not interesting to me. But anyway, people have like messaged me like, you horse dewormer, and I'm like, you're so brainwashed. I don't even talk about this stuff. What do you like? But they just know like Joe Rogan equals horse dewormer equals conspiracy theorist equals anybody that doesn't want to wear a mask forever. It's like, you guys got to wake up, because it's getting really creepy. And it's sad because I don't think the right wing is right about everything. And I think if the left wing wasn't so brainwashed, like this country would be better, because there's a lot of things that the right wing, no offense, is annoying me on. Trump is annoying me. A lot of these apologists who won't tell the truth about him are annoying me. But right now we have the left who's just screaming horse pace and horse dewormer and wants to like, defend pedophiles or something because, some 17-year-old kid got in an altercation, whatever. It's like, it's just kind of weird. So it's like now we have this climate where the right wing is right about more stuff, obviously. The left wing is almost right about nothing. But now the right wing thinks that like they don't need any self-accountability, because compared to the left wing, they look like, they look like Elvis Presley. It's like you put yourself next to this lady, everybody looks amazing compared to her. It's like, who couldn't do a better job in governor than this lady? She looks like a, rejected Christmas ornament from Amazon. So, it's bad for the country having a left wing this brainwashed. So, because they say iron sharpens iron. That's not going on. It's not like iron sharpens iron. It's like soy. It's like the skinny hipster kid slurping down soy milk. It like is like yelling at the MAGA mom, and it's just getting ugly, because it's like, I think the right's right about way more stuff, but like, you guys got to get better. You get what I'm saying? Iron sharpens iron. So I feel like a lot of Republicans are getting lazy because it's so easy to be better than liberals right now. Literally, you could just like sit there and say nothing, and it's like more impressive than like Pete Davidson. Literally, like this, I'm just going to do something in 5 seconds. That was funnier than SNL. And that's not even that funny, but like, that's funnier than SNL. I'm not bragging like, oh my God, that was so funny. But like, SNL's not funny. Pete Davidson's not funny anymore. So like I'm funnier than SNL. That's a problem. I'm not a comedian, but I am much funnier than them. And I could do sketch comedy, have a #1 television show if they gave me the budget. So I'm not trying to brag, but like, yeah, I'm better than all of them. But it's like that's how bad they are. They're the professional comedians. They should be funny. So I don't feel good about this. I don't feel like, oh my God, I'm so funny. Ha ha ha. I'm like, man, iron sharpens iron. It would be like if I was playing kindergartners in a basketball game. It's like, yeah, I'd win every time, but eventually I'd get crappier at basketball because I'm beating kindergartners. That's how I feel being like more right leaning against left wingers right now. It doesn't like a lot of accounts are loving it because they seem amazing, right? It's like, dude, I'm the shit. Like I'm so much better than these people. And it is true. No offense. It's like you are better, but that's what's kind of concerning me about the right wing right now is they're getting hella lazy and hella, phony with some stuff because it's so easy to be better than a kindergarten basketball team. And that's what the left wing is. They're like, horse Dewormer, huh? Big Bird. And it's like, no, dude, like just stop. Like just stop doing this. Like you've done this for 4 months. Like we've debunked it 1,000 times. Like just stop already, dude. Elon Musk is like the funniest semi left wing person. He's not even left wing. Nobody likes you anymore. I'm just like Joe Rogan. I could play this clip. I don't want it to curse, but he was talking to Theo Vaughn and he moved to Texas and Theo's like, oh, you'll come back to LA. And Joe Rogan's like, no, I won't. And he's like, you could visit. And Joe's like, I don't want to visit. He's like, F that. He said, F-U-C-K that place. Joe Rogan's like, he hates LA. He grew up. He lived in LA for 20 years and he's literally saying, F that place. It sucks. I hate it. I don't even want to visit. Taxes are too high. The government's smug. Nobody likes you guys anymore. Whatever. Just keep doing this and telling yourself you're cool. Smart people will move away and you're just going to collapse in on yourself. But that's my thoughts. Let me know yours. God bless you guys. I appreciate you for listening to me. Someone said Joe pooped his pants. Doc Holliday said on. I'm not saying I created that, but I did like months ago. I've been saying like, everyone's like, talk about Joe Biden. Why don't you talk about Joe Biden? I'm like, because I don't respect him. I don't think he's like worth talking about. I know he's the president, but it's like, I just predicted maybe one day he would poop his pants on stage and it would be embarrassing and they'd usher in Kamala because like, you can't have a president who poops his pants. 2 months later, after I said that, everybody starts this rumor that he pooped his pants at the Vatican. I'm not saying he pooped his pants. I'm not trying to start fake news because, I would assume that he wears diapers at this point. Once again, not confirmed. This is just my guess. He might wear diapers and it would catch it. So it's like, if a bear craps in the woods, did it really happen? It's like, if Joe Biden shit in diapers, does it count as shitting your pants? Or is that like part of the equation where it's kind of like going to the toilet for someone of his, mental caliber? I don't know, but I'm not trying to say I made it, but I feel like I was one of the first ones who said Joe Biden might poop his pants. And all of a sudden, every right winger, 3 months later, Joe's pooping, Joe's pooping, Joe's pooping. I'm always ahead of the curve, whether it's, something that matters. They're talking about poopy pants Joe. I feel like if you watch my platform, we're always like 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 months ahead of everyone else. It's like we're living in the future. Everyone just has to catch up to us. Like, did you hear the joke about Joe pooping his pants? Like, dude, I heard that on Anomaly in 2020. And they're like, oh yeah, we just made it up yesterday. Like, you didn't make that up. But I don't even feel like I made it up because he probably poops his pants. I'm sure before I said it, there was a point where he probably pooped his pants, maybe like 3 years ago. Only Jill would know this. I don't know for sure, but I'm sure there was a point where he probably did poop his pants, maybe in the real world. So did I even make it up? Probably not. I'm just speculating. It's like, is that stock going to go up or down? I could say it, but who the hell knows? I don't know. Did Joe poop his pants this year, last year, 5 years ago, in the future? I'm just an analyst. I'm like that Mad Money guy. I'm just doing my best out here. But this is just a recommendation. I would throw just an extra case of Pampers on the guy just to be safe. You know what I'm saying? I would, if I were his staff, why not? It's no one will know. As long as you tuck it in, you got to make sure you tuck it in though. Because if you leave the Pampers out, now that's a scandal on your hands. You get what I'm saying? If it's not tucked in and you forget to tuck his shirt in, and then people see the Pampers, you ever done that with your underwear or whatever? Now, your Pampers, now they're like overflowing and everyone looks at it and laughs. Now that's a whole nother scandal you just created. So once again, I suggest putting it under, but just make sure you tuck it in because you can't have that. You can't have that leaking out. But if it's, as long as it's firmly tucked in, no one will know. And it's just a safer route because then if he shits his pants, it's not a big deal. It's like a baby. Like, that's what they're there for. So just my opinion, but once again, unsolicited advice, very unsolicited. Um, I just feel like it's Monday morning. It's 9:50 where I'm at. It's important to wake up early. Oh, it's Tuesday, excuse me, but it's important to wake up early and get these things out of the way because everyone's talking about climate change, COVID. This is a little bit more important in my opinion, but everybody's got priorities. Everyone thinks differently. Someone said rogue news. I'm gonna read some. Someone said I honestly feel sorry for Joe Biden. I feel like he was such a terrible. I don't know. If you look at old clips of him, he seemed even worse when he was younger. I don't know if I feel bad for him. Someone said free Larry. Nah, Larry, the guy who got blocked. I blocked someone else this morning too. I don't want to explain why, but my thought process for blocking is pretty funny. Thank you, Doc Holliday. Appreciate you. Someone said Taiwan has stopped the use of Pfizer for children aged 12 to 17 and will decide in 2 weeks whether to allow the second dose. Yeah, I saw that they're stopping the second dose or whatever for children. A lot of countries are doing that with Moderna. It's interesting because on one hand, this is confirmed. This is not my opinion, but even the CDC and our health administrators or whatever they call themselves, they have talked about myocarditis, right? And heart problems among especially young men. This is not my opinion. This is not a conspiracy theory. This is well documented. This is said. Is it rare? Sure. But at the same time, this is not optional. So if you're identifying that something's happening, it's rare until it happens to you or one of your friends, like it's happened to many athletes, So I don't know a lot, but enough where if you're the person with heart damage and now you can't ride a motorcycle or play tennis for the rest of the year, well, yeah, it kind of matters now. Yeah, it's not everybody, but it did happen to you. So yeah, it's rare, but you're forcing someone to do something that you have risk. This is the big thing that people are not, I don't know if everybody, but a lot of people are sleeping on. I'm not anti-vaccine. I'm not anti-pill. I'm not anti-juice. I'm not anti-vegetables. I'm not anti-meat. I'm not anti-seafood, but there's certain things that certain people don't want. I don't like oysters. Some people love oysters. I don't really like lobster that much. Some people love lobster. I like clam chowder. I'm basic with my seafood, but I hope to one day eat more. It doesn't make me anti-seafood. Everybody doesn't eat everything. Everybody doesn't take every pill. Everybody doesn't take every medication. That's not how this world works. And you don't have to. You could opt out for your child or yourself. So this whole idea that if you say anything, you're anti-vaccine is complete nonsense. And this trend that they have where they're covering up vaccine injuries and just acting like they don't exist, or you can't say because it's gonna dissuade people from getting the vaccination. It's very evil because this vaccine is protected, the Pfizer, the Moderna, and the Johnson & Johnson. They're protected under the PrEP Act or the PREPA Act. And what that is it was signed by George W. Bush. You could look it up on Wikipedia or anywhere, really. But it's called the PrEP Act. And George W. Bush signed it into law. And it even says on Wikipedia that it was a controversial passing because what it did is during a public health emergency like this one, vaccine manufacturers are not liable for their vaccines, whether it be, sorry, my alarm's going off, but whether it be for side effects, injuries, or deaths. The PrEP Act says under George Bush, if you push this product during a health emergency, you are not liable for side effects, injuries, and deaths. Why did they pass that law? Why or act or whatever it is? Why would they pass something that said vaccine manufacturers are not liable for side effects, injuries, or deaths under a public health emergency? Did they do that because side effects don't exist? Would they pass a bill for something that doesn't exist? No, they did it because they know that they do exist and they don't want financial liability for them. So it's the same thing with the National Childhood Vaccine Injury Act, but the PrEP Act is what this is all under. So there's an article on CNBC that says the Pfizer and Moderna have no liability if you get injured, and likely you won't receive compensations either. These people are so cocky that the compensation fund that they have to take money out of for people that do get injured that they know happens is like minuscule. So you're not getting very much. Hopefully you do if something happens, but it's unlikely according to CNBC. So this is the real wicked part. They know about this stuff. That's why they passed all this legislation to protect themselves. And then they get on television and try to call you a conspiracy theorist when it's happening, where it's like, it is rare, but this isn't optional. So if I go and do something and they say, hey, you're doing this under your own free will. I go to these places all the time, like fun things like I've done, like I've flown in a helicopter. And when I flew in a helicopter, although it's very rare that something happens in a helicopter, nobody forced me to do it. I signed the paperwork, and I signed, and it said if something happens in this helicopter, we're not liable for it. So this is the difference between this and that. They know that things happen, and I would say that these are side effects are a lot less rare than helicopter crashes. But in general, it's like you can't force somebody to do something with risk. And I would say there's things that are even riskier than helicopter flying that people do optionally: rock climbing, like skydiving, bungee jumping, like whatever, jumping off. They don't push you off and say you have to do it. And then if you get hurt, they're like, oh, whatever, we're not liable for it. That's kind of what they're doing here. They're pushing hundreds of millions of people to do this, signing a waiver, that you don't even know exists, saying if something happens, we are not liable for whatever happens. And now it's happening to hundreds and thousands of people across the world in different, severe to mild. I would say above that, if you're talking about mild and whatever. And they're sitting there saying we have no liability. That's why this is so wicked. But here's the thing: if you look at Japan, if you look at Europe, even if you look at China, if you look at China's mRNA rollout, the Pfizer and the Moderna are mRNA vaccines. The Johnson & Johnson is not. mRNA is the new technology that was not released to the public until COVID. How convenient for that technology. But in general, the China approach was to roll out the mRNA slower. So the last time I checked, which was a couple months ago, they haven't even rolled out the mRNA vaccine. So as Trump goes around the country and Biden goes around the country and says Pfizer, Moderna, the equivalent of Chinese Pfizer and Moderna, the mRNA, I don't even know if it's out to the public yet, because they waited over a year or over a couple of years to really work on it and test it. Unlike America, that just said, let's go with it. Operation Warp Speed, baby. That's Donald Trump. Let's go. Let's get it. And China was like, we'll give you a vaccine, but with the mRNA, they're moving slower for whatever reason. In Japan and a lot of these countries in Europe, they're starting to roll back certain age groups and say, you know what, let's slow it down a little bit and let's see what's going on. America, you're not going to see that happen at the same rates. You know why? America's the big pharma capital of the world. America is dominated by big pharma, probably more than any other country. When it came to opioids and when they were the cash cow, 80% of the world's opioids were taken from America, which is 5% of the world. So you have America, 5% of the world, taking 80% of the world's opioids in 2016. We are the pharmacy capital of the world. And here's the thing: people are fighting with each other. They don't care. They have the left wing, they love it. So that's amazing for them, right? Oh, these people are just promoting our product. They love whatever's going on. And then you have the right wing that defends Trump to the grave and says, he didn't mandate it, he just rushed it. It's like he's still running around the country selling the product. Both of these parties are sold out to big pharma, Trump and Biden. They're both salesmen. Biden's a skeezier salesman because he's forcing you to take the product without you even wanting to do it. But Trump is still a skeezy salesman. So, America is way behind on the caution in this topic because our country is way more sold out and way more, a lot of these companies are from here. And I know they overseas and stuff, they have other brands that they're going with, but, Pfizer, they are working with BioNTech, but Moderna, look where they're Johnson & Johnson, look where they're from. They're from America. That's a big cash cow for America. And our politicians are perhaps the most bought out by big pharma. I mean, look, it's not a secret. It's a lobbying thing. So that's the crazy part is like, they know that these things exist. They know because they wrote the PrEP Act and they wrote the NCVIA. They wrote these bills that protected themselves from liability. And then they're saying it's criminal if you say something we disagree with. Like, no, what's criminal, Pfizer, is the criminal fine, the record-breaking criminal fine that you guys paid. Like, that's crime, not telling the truth or asking questions rather about a product that you don't even have liability for if something goes bad. You know how evil that is? Like, imagine if my hats like were filled with something and like people were losing their hair and like, it's one thing to not take liability and it's one thing to have no liability. It's another thing to say, not only do I not have liability, but I'm going to shame you for talking about it. So if my hats had something in it and not everybody or a rare amount of people, whatever, they start losing their hair, maybe I'm not liable for it. I don't really know the law, but in general, I'm a human being and I would have sympathy. I'll be like, damn, I am really sorry. I will figure out what I can do, make this better, really work on it, take it off the market, whatever I got to do. They don't do that. They're like, I will shame you for even talking about what I know exists because I already protected myself from it. Like, they are the most evil people ever. I don't care if they make some good products. It's like this whole cycle. It's like a cycle of hell that's never going to end. So I hope people are paying attention because they write these things, they pass these laws, they pass these bills, they pass these executive orders. Nobody even knows they're doing it. They fight over Trump, they fight over Biden. Yes, Biden's worse, but your guy is no angel. He helped roll all this stuff out. I want to just read something real quick because I don't want to talk about this too much. I'll get to something more fun, but I want to read a comment that somebody wrote on my Instagram just to show you how obviously the left wing has lost their mind. But I'm starting to get kind of creeped out by like a lot of like right wingers too, just like how I don't know, like how their mind process is going, but whatever. So this lady, like someone was like, defending Trump with like all the Operation Warp Speed stuff. And here's the thing, I'm honest about it. I'm not saying it's like he's the most evil person to ever exist ever, but she wrote this. She said in defense of Trump, she said, I'm a traveling healthcare professional and I never saw a vaccine injured person under Trump. It started happening in February. It's the truth. So she's trying to defend Trump, even though he rolled out the vaccine. She's saying vaccine injuries didn't exist until Joe Biden got into office. They never existed until February. And it's like, what type of delusion does this person have? It's like, if Trump won the election, does she think that there would have been nothing ever, you know what I'm saying, in that department? Like if he would have won and been president for 4 more years, oh, it didn't exist until Biden got into office in February. It's like if the rollout for the product was the last year and people didn't start taking it till March, April, May, June, this is when it rolled out. Yeah, it's normal to see an increase in cases. Like I'm not saying Biden's perfect, but he's not particularly responsible for the it's because people started taking the product that was already ushered out. So in her head, she's like, 100% of vaccine injuries are Biden's fault and 0% are Trump because they didn't exist while he was in office. It's like, yo, that's like low IQ, like CNN level thinking. Like, and that creeps me out because it's like, how are we ever going to do anything if you think like that? Like, this is not going to be a movement of truth and like accomplishing things. It doesn't even make sense. And I'm not defending Biden. I'm just saying like, it doesn't make any sense. I don't know. Like someone said it's a poser. You would be shocked at how many people like, I get it though, because listen, I've defended Trump and then we'll move on. I've defended Trump hundreds of times. Why did I defend Trump hundreds of times? Because it was the right thing to do. And it was easy to do because from 2016 to 2019, all they did was lie. All the media did was lie. They blamed you. They blamed good people. They blamed people in the South. So I had an easy time defending Trump because it was the truth. The second Trump started doing sketchy stuff, I was just like, I didn't hate him, but I was like, I'm not just going to lie if he's wrong, or I'm not going to change my opinion based on, something that he did that's corny or something. And then I started talking about it. And then I just got weirded out because I was like, man, some people they're like trying to figure out like why they defend something that they don't even like. And I'll give you an example and then I'll move on. There are mothers, and I'm not saying you have to be this way because some people love pharmacy products, some people don't. But there are like a lot of mothers who are really against pharmacy products, the jab, we'll say. And these are people with like kids that are injured or they know, or they say they're standing up for kids who are injured. And they are so against like, big pharma. And then Donald Trump gives them $12 billion and they start defending it and saying, well, he didn't mandate it. And this is a good thing. He had to do it. If he didn't fund big pharma, they wouldn't have opened up the country. And you're like, what? You get what I'm saying? Where the point I'm saying, the reason I'm bringing this up is because if Joe Biden was president or Barack Obama was president or Hillary Clinton was president, and these literal anti-vaxxer moms were, seeing this warp speed rollout, do you think they would bend over backwards to say, oh no, Hillary Clinton has to do this. Oh no, Joe Biden's funding big pharma for my health. They never would defend this stuff. That's why I'm not trying to be mean, But I don't respect a lot of these people because they're phonies. They're team red just like people are team blue. And that's how you become a liar. So it's like they're willing to lie. They're willing to go against their morals, their ethics, what they believe, just to defend a guy and a product that they don't even believe in themselves and they hate. Just to, it doesn't make any sense. It's like, what? It's the same with the left wing when, like, say, like prison reform. When I was young and I was more liberal, I cared about prison reform, right? I thought that it was so evil and they needed to do prison reform. And then Trump did prison reform. It's not hard for me. I don't know. God is great. I'm grateful to not be such a, like, stubborn person. But like when Trump did prison reform, I showed people on the left and I was like, remember when everybody wanted this like 2 years ago and Trump just did it and nobody gave him credit. It's just that dynamic, whether you're left wing or right wing, it's just so weird to me when people are so fake. It's like, if you want prison reform done, why does it matter if Obama does it or Trump does it? If Trump does it, why not just say thank you? Be like, I don't like you, but thank you. You can't do that, then I don't trust you. And that's what the left wing did with everything Trump did. Everything he did, they lied about. But then when Trump started doing things that the right wing didn't like, or that like holistic moms didn't like, then they started lying about it. And it's like, I get it. But at the same time, I don't like that. That's like, just be honest. Why do you got, like, it's so weird to me that people are willing to do that over these politicians that don't really care about you that much, or like a politician that it's like, dude, these are not like your best friend. It's not like your mom up there, where you got to defend her, or you're like your kid where you got to defend them. These are freaking billionaires and politicians that they don't need you to, like, they live in nice places and they have a lot of money. Like, they don't need you sitting there like lying on their behalf. I don't get it, but whatever. Face palm. I read the comment. It's funny. Sorry, I missed it, but I appreciate the super chat. All right, we'll read some. Someone said, I agree with you. The difference is mandates. I don't think Republicans would have done the mandates. Republicans are definitely better on the mandates. No, absolutely. I'm just trying to double task. Like, I vote Republican. I prefer Republican states, counties, no question. The tax rules, everything. If you lined up a list to me and it was like, here's what the Democrats do and here's what the Republicans do, I don't know that the Democrats, maybe one or two out of like 1,000 issues that I think that they're better on, but not many. So I think Republicans are better on everything. But the problem is Republicans just kind of like push, they're too weak. So it's like, you get what I'm saying? Yes, he didn't mandate it, but if this were a cycle, some people are saying you need to fund vaccines in order to be free. If you're a Republican and you think you need to lock the country down for 2 months and give Big Pharma $12 billion in order to be free, you don't deserve to be free, because that's not smart. And that's what a lot of Trump supporters are saying. He had to do this. So it's like, you have to fund this corrupt industry in order to be free. You're not free. Give me $12 billion or you're not free. You're not free then. So that's the Republicans. No, they didn't mandate it, but they orchestrated it, locked it down, did everything the Democrats wanted, printed $1 trillion, funded these companies $12 billion. Now they have money to use on campaigns and pay people off and do all this stuff. Where'd they get the money from? From Donald Trump's Operation Warp Speed. A lot of that came from that. It's like, so yeah, he didn't mandate it, but I try to, without being annoying or repeating the same thing, it would be like if I was John Stockton and Biden was Karl Malone. The only way to beat Karl Malone, if you're John Stockton, it's like, hey, deflate the ball, put it over there, and then it's not easy for him to dunk. Here's what Donald Trump and the Republicans do. They pump the ball up, they dribble it, they run down the court, they give Karl Malone a 5-year contract, they lob the ball up in the front of it, and then Joe Biden dunks it in your face. And then everybody says, but anomaly, Donald Trump didn't dunk it in your face. I know that. I appreciate that. I vote Republican because I think it's the better route out of the two scummy parties. But this metaphor still holds true. So if you think you're winning by your party pumping the ball up, signing the other contract, giving him more money than he could ever imagine, running down the court, lobbing him, and then him dunking your face, you don't understand the game that's going on. That's what's happening. They're not doing that to open the country. If you think the only way to keep your country open is to be held for ransom by an industry and give them $12 billion, you're not free. You get what I'm saying? It's like, yeah, we got to pass the Patriot Act to get our freedom back. No, We got to do income tax. No, like that's that you're going the wrong way. The Democrats are flying that way, and your leaders give them everything that they could possibly ever imagine. So, that's why I know it's not up to me, but somebody needs to get in there that doesn't do that, or it is what it is. I'm not going to complain about it. It's just like people are going to be perpetually disappointed, and I'm going to have a fun time with it. Not because I enjoy it, but listen, I saw this coming 2 years ago. So this is not shocking to me. Some people are like, oh my God, I thought the trust the plan, YouTube tutorial told me that, Joe Biden was going to get arrested. It's like, not only did Joe Biden not get arrested, Trump supporters got arrested, Q people got arrested, and Joe Biden became the president. And Donald Trump is on a vaccine sales tour. So, like, these people are shocked. I'm just like, yeah, I told you that was going to happen like a year ago. So it is what it is. But what do I think about tapping our oil reserves anomaly? I'm not really an oil expert, but I could probably guarantee you that Joe Biden is not doing the right thing. And I could guarantee you that they're purposely doing it because they don't want oil. They're betting big on clean energy that's not clean. They're just like, destroying lithium mines across the world. But I think they're purposely sabotaging the oil market, the Democrats. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. But I'm not super familiar on how many oil reserves we have or what the right thing to do. But I think this administration's purposely sabotaging the oil industry for their big bet on, electric and that type of stuff. How do I feel about YouTube eliminating the thumbs down? Oh, no question. They're doing it to protect their agenda. Look at Cuties, the weirdo, like semi-pedo movie or whatever. It's got millions of thumbs downs. Look at every Biden interview, millions of thumbs down. Listen, I disagree with Trump on certain things, but he's actually popular on YouTube. If you look up Trump's speeches and stuff, people like them. If all these people hate Trump, I know there are people out there that hate Trump. How come he's getting upvoted? The system works fine. The system works great. They could go to his pages and downvote it, but more people seem to like Trump than have a passion of hating him. He's popular. So, Biden's unpopular, liberal stuff's unpopular. It's a great system. I think the thumbs up and thumbs down is a great system on YouTube, but they're authoritarian. It bothers them because they're not popular. So this is how bad I think liberals have become. Instead of like thinking about why they're unpopular, they just keep doing it and taking shit away from you. They are authoritarians. I said this years ago. I said that they have a slave master mentality, the liberals. And I'm not saying this to be edgy, like, oh my God, don't say that. Like I'm talking like psychologically, they literally have a slave master mentality. Like they want to control you on every aspect of everything. I'm not saying Republicans are perfect, especially in politics, but like the average thought of Republicans tends to be libertarian. They just don't realize that their party is like a communist, socialist, Zionist party that is just pretending to be libertarian. That's the disconnect. People don't get that. They're like, oh, the Republicans are going to fight socialism. They are socialists. Trump was a socialist. They're just like, oh, no, he's not. He's fighting. So look, like that's what he said. Look at the money printed. Look at the universal basic income. He went full-blown socialist. But anyway, the conservative people, they want libertarianism. Get off my yard. Get out of my bank account. Just stop committing crimes, and we don't care what you do. That's why I vote Republican. I know that the party doesn't do it, but that's what the people want, and we're getting closer. Not really, but I would say in spirit, we're getting closer. The Democrats have a slave master mentality. They literally want everything. They want to control your life on every level. They don't want parents to control their kids. They don't want you to control your money. They want to steal everything from you. They want to tax your business. They want to treat you like a horrible person. If you stand up for yourself and you're white, they'll call you a white supremacist. If you're black and you have a winning mentality that will help you be successful in life, they call you a sellout and a traitor. So it's like looking at the Democrats, seeing how this all unveiled, it's not surprising. It went from that. I said this like 4 years ago. I'm like, they have a slave master mentality. And it's not shocking to me that they're treating people like slaves now. Wear a mask, get out of my restaurant, get out of my gym, get out of here. Give me 40% of your wealth. Give me the money that you haven't even made yet. They're slave masters. I'm sorry. It's like, that's just what they are. The disconnect is like, that's what the Democrats are doing. So people just assume that Republicans are libertarians. They're not. Republicans are so socialist, it's not even funny. Like JFK looks like like Mussolini compared to like Donald Trump. Like I don't even know if that's a good example, but like Republican voters keep falling for people like Trump that are like, we're going to fight socialism and the deep state. And everyone's like, yeah. And then I believed it too at a certain point because he was doing it. His actions were speaking, right? He was killing it. He did a great job for 3.5 years. I'm not a big critic. I don't expect that much out of him. I'm just like, don't put us into slavery. And I'll say you did a good job. He couldn't do that. He literally left us in like the shittiest state that America's ever been in. He went full blown socialist. He did universal basic income. He printed trillions of dollars. You could think that Trump is like a libertarian. He's not a libertarian. He's a full blown socialist. They just pretend to be libertarian because people keep thinking they are. I'm not telling people to vote for Democrats because they're going full communist. So that's your two options. It's like, do you want like full-blown communism or like full-blown socialism on the aspects of communism while they give money to the communists and claim that they're fighting them? And then, hang out with Bill Gates and Fauci and do like little pharma deals with them and act like they're fighting the deep state. These are our options right now. And these will change when people are honest about it. But right now, the Democrats have lost their damn mind. No offense, but like, how are they even in the equation of helping out? I'm not trying to be mean, but it's like they're so far gone from the truth. It's like they're not even on the playing field. And Republicans, in my opinion, and Trump supporters are on the playing field, and they're so close. Everybody's so close. But this is like the elephant in the room no one wants to talk about. So you're on the playing field, but it's just a big show until people get, serious about it. And they're like, yeah, no, that did happen in 2020. We should probably like address that moving forward, or else it's going to happen again. But it's happening. It's starting to happen. So I'm not trying to be a downer about it because people are getting it. And I like to have a positive attitude about it. So someone said universal basic income. Who's getting that? T. Lawton. Here's my thing. What would you call it? When the whole country shuts down, pretty much, except for maybe one state, the whole country shuts down and everybody gets $1,200. What would you call that? Nobody can work, or very few people can work, and we'll call you essential. And everybody on the planet that has under a certain amount of money gets $1,200. What's that called? It's called putting the whole country on welfare. That's what Donald Trump did. And that's what the Democrats did. They put the whole country on welfare. Here's the thing. I'm not blaming Donald Trump. He did what any other politician would do. But now he's just any other politician to me. He's not this guy who's doing anything different. He did what anyone would do. So, but he had to because there's a virus. We'll expect more then, because if it's that easy to beat Republicans, well, he had to. Then they're going to keep doing what he had to do, so he keeps having to do it. You get what I'm saying? It's like, well, he had to pass the Patriot Act. He had to fight bin Laden. He had to do the virus. He had to take away the Second Amendment. He had to. Then they're going to keep giving you scenarios where he has to do it because it's so easy. You get what I'm saying? It's like that happened. I wish it didn't, trust me, but it did. So I don't know why. Someone said, oh, come on, he was trying to help. Here's the point I'm trying to get to, though. This is a left-wing talking point. Why is Barack Obama giving everybody Obama phones? Why is Barack Obama, giving everybody health care and taking away the individual mandate? Oh, come on, Anomaly. Barack Obama's just trying to help. Anomaly, Barack Obama's doing socialism because he's trying to help. That's what a liberal would say. When Donald Trump puts the whole country on welfare, oh, come on, Anomaly, he's just trying to help. Stop pretending to be a libertarian. Stop pretending to be a conservative. Just say you're a communist and be like, yeah, I'm a communist. I'm a Trump communist. I hate communism when AOC does it, but when Trump takes AOC's policy and when Trump literally implements AOC's policy, he's just trying to help. It's like, okay, sure. I guess like go get an Andrew Yang flag then or something, or go get like go get a Karl Marx flag and just put Trump's head on it or something. Because that's it. I don't like big pharma. I disagree with trillions and billions of dollars going to big pharma. I hate when Hillary does it. I hate when Trump did it. Oh, Trump did it. Oh man, that's dope. Operation Warp Speed. I'm going to get a Space Force shirt. It's like, okay, you could think that way. I'm just saying that's not libertarianism. That's not conservatism. That's not republicanism. That's communism. Communism is when you take away everybody's shit, centralize it, and just give everybody money and incentivize them not to work. That's socialism and communism. That's what he's just trying to help. I guess if you're a communist, yeah, sure. If you believe in like capitalism, then no, he's not trying to help. That's why in 2020 the elites made more money than ever, and average people lost more wealth than ever. It was the biggest wealth transfer in modern history. He's not trying to help. Oh, I got $1,200 in the mail. I'd rather not. I'd rather earn my money. Call me crazy, call me a capitalist. I feel like I'm having a debate with the Young Turks right now. But people, that's how scrambled to get people's brains. Well, I like this guy so much, I'll defend Karl Marx's manifesto. It's like, okay, sure. Someone said it rewards people for not working. For sure. 2020, the best analogy is they put the whole country on welfare. And it's partially the reason why people aren't working today, because the whole flow of things was knocked off course. They knocked it all off course and put tens of millions of people onto welfare. They screwed up so bad in 2020. That doesn't mean that Joe Biden's making it better. Joe Biden is the worst president ever. I voted for Trump. I would do it again because Joe Biden sucks that bad. I mean, Trump didn't help me that much, but by bare minimum, by not being Biden, it would be slightly better. But that doesn't mean that all this started now. And I feel like the elites have destroyed the brains of conservatives, not just liberals, because it was like the perfect thing. It was like, okay, get Trump to do this stuff. He sets his supporters up at the Capitol, or he leads them to this Fed event where everybody gets in trouble, and now they call you terrorists. He leaves office, and now everybody forgets about 2020, and they act like Joe Biden invented the lockdown and the pandemic. No, that was Fauci, Trump, Birx, him working with Democrat governors. This all happened last year, and now it's extending. He passed the baton off to Biden to oppress everybody. I'm not blaming him for 100% of stuff, but these Republicans and Trump apologists who say this is 100% Biden and 0% Trump, like Styx Hexenhammer, aka the Mark of the Beast devil scrawny boy who looks like he, lifts toothpicks and jerks off too much. Excuse my language. But in general, these people who are brainwashing Trump supporters, like, oh, this is 100% Biden and 0% Trump. It's like, no, Biden is not helping. He's purposely doing all this stuff. He's the worst president ever. But if you want to act like 2020 didn't exist, you're just lying to yourself. I don't know what to tell you. Like a big chunk of what's going on now is a leftover from what they did in 2020. And Biden is probably purposely driving it as far into the ground as possible. So for that reason, I would vote Republican again. But I'll read this comment. Someone said, if Republicans are smart, they should be winning over women and millennials. We lost the most money last year. Yeah, but that's what I'm saying too. It's like, this is why I'm grateful. Cause like, listen, I don't want to tell everybody else what to do. That's why I have my platform, right? It's like, oh, I don't like your media. Shit. Well, excuse my language. I make my own, so that's why God is great. Cause now I'm able, you wouldn't believe how many millennials, how many people with Black Lives Matter in their bio follow me. And I don't pander. I pander less than a lot of these big Republicans. And I get more Black people, more, millennials, more women than they do. And I'm not bragging. I'm just saying you don't have to pander. Just stop like being so generic. Like you look on Fox News and they're like, gosh darn it, what the heck? And you're like, it's like they're like, we would never be a socialist country. Like you did socialism. Shut up, you liar. Like we'll never do it. Nobody likes that. I don't think I put out anything where I'm like, oh, Black Lives Matter, so amazing. I got a like I don't pander like that. I say they were founded by, two women who were inspired by a Jewish Marxist who, taught them how to, love Karl Marx and his agenda. And I'll break it down. I don't sugarcoat it and say, oh my God, it did so great. But Black Lives Matter people still follow me, and women and millennials follow me. It's because I don't know. That's why like Republicans are like it's kind of just like cringy. They're like 100% into Trump, but then like 0% like willing to like be honest about it. But whatever. I don't want to complain. I'm grateful because then I just make my own content. I don't hate on other people's stuff. I just do my own. But I'm like, when I watch like certain conservatives, I'm like, are you trying to make like people hate you? You know what I'm saying? I agree with you politically, but I don't even like you. So I can't imagine if I was liberal, what I would think if I watched you, like, I don't know. I'm like, but whatever. Everyone to each their own. Everybody plays a part. Everybody serves a purpose. Someone said if Republicans and Democrats are the problem, why keep voting for the problem? Vote Libertarian. Well, the Libertarians need to get better. You know, Joe Jorgensen, no offense, she was garbage. Joe Jorgensen was like, she was like super liberal socially. And I'm not like, if you make sense, it's fine, but she wasn't even making sense. I was like, what? But anyway, what's the Mises caucus or the Mises caucus? I don't even know. They reached out to me because I was complaining about taxes. I said libertarians were right about taxes. Taxation is theft. And they messaged me and were like, Anomaly, do you want to talk to us? They're trying to recruit me to the the Libertarian Party. I don't want to be in politics, but I might have a conversation with them just to see what they're talking about. But yeah, I mean, I like the idea of libertarian, but you guys got to get your party together, and somehow you got to get like, I don't know, 20% of the vote or something. I just, at this point, it's like, I think strategically, and I hate to be mean, but it's like there are certain benefits, like locally, you know, especially it annoys me when like a libertarian runs and they take away just enough votes from the Republican. Where I'm not saying you shouldn't be allowed to run, but I'm going to vote for the Republican because you know I've seen what Republican governors do in certain states, and I've seen what Democrat governors do in certain states. I think there is a benefit to the Republicans on a local scale. It's not as big as it should be, but I don't know. To me, it's like go big or go home. So to the libertarians, if y'all can ride the Dave Smith train and get like 50% of the vote, then you know you could be a real competitor. But if you guys are going to get like 1 to 2% of the vote every election, it's like, you know, I don't know. I'm not trying to be mean, but I don't want to lose. Like if I run, I'm not going to lose. That's the and people are like, "Oh, you're a sellout. You don't vote for your morals." I'm like, I don't like Joe Jorgensen. I voted for Trump, and I would against Biden again because Joe Jorgensen was super cringy. But in general, I wouldn't run for president and just get 1%. Like I'm not trying to be mean, but I see some of these candidates and they're like, "I'm going to win, Patriots, give me your money. I'm going to win." And they get blown out by like 40% of the vote and they just keep doing it to raise money and like role play politician. I'm not trying to be mean, but like how many people have you seen run for governor that are like, "I will be the next governor as the next governor." And I'm thinking to myself, you know you're not going to be governor. I know you're not going to be governor. You know you're not going to get 1% of the vote. I know you're not going to get 1% of the vote. You know, it's like I couldn't do that and be like, I'm your as your future governor, and I'm not even going to clear 2% of the vote. I wouldn't say that. Those words wouldn't come out my mouth unless I really thought I could win. So that's how I feel about the Libertarian Party. I'm not running as an office and getting 2% of the vote just to role play, you know, governor. We're like, as your guy, like, nah, I'm not going to get the votes. I get it. I'm not running unless I'm going to win. That's how I feel. If I ran in 30, 40 years, whenever, and I said I'm running to win, I'm running to win. I'm not one of these people that's going to run 5 years in a row, you know, fundraise $10 million and get blown out by 40 points by a Democrat in these counties. Or, you know, I don't know. I just, as a observer, I'm not trying to be a hater, but don't you think it's cringy when like somebody runs for governor and you know that they're just not even gonna get like 1,000 votes and they're like, as your next governor, you know, then they start talking like a politician too, like, as your next governor, I will get away with the mandates. As your next governor, and I'm like, you're not gonna be the next governor, bro. Like, you're not gonna see me do that. As a as a future NHL player, it's like I'm not going to be in the NHL. I'm not good at hockey, you know. So why would I like go on a tour and pretend like I was? Like I don't know. People love to do that though, because then they get lots of followers, lots of money. You know, people who don't really have a following and nobody really cares about. It's like, what if I ran for governor? It's like, no, just I don't know. I'm not trying to be mean, but if I run, I'm gonna win. So that's gonna be my conversation with Libertarian Party. First of all, I don't want to run. I'll see what they're talking about, but I don't want to get into politics. But if I did, you're not going to see me on the down ballot with 2% of the vote. And once again, I'm not running. I don't want to. But if I ever did, I couldn't do it if I thought I was going to like so many people know. They're like, you're not going to get 2% of the vote, bro. You know this. I know this. We all know this. Stop lying. You're like, as your next governor, I'm going to defeat Donald Trump. No, you're not, Joe Jorgensen. Joe Jorgensen. Joe. Come on. You know you're not going to get like 3% of the vote, maybe 4. You know you're not going to be the next president, but you can role play. It's like they just walk around and role play. They're like, as your next president, like, okay, you're going to be in a room with like 50 libertarians and they're going to be like, oh yeah, you're going to win. Like, no, you're not. I don't know. I couldn't lie to myself. That's why I can't be in politics. I'm like, we got to win. I'm not getting 2%. I need at least 50% of the vote, or I don't want to be in. And if I think I can't get over 10, I'm sitting out. That's just how I feel. I couldn't do that, but to each their own. Listen, I know it's a good gig. I get it. It's a good gig. Oh my gosh, this stupid alarm. I get it. I got a meeting at 11 o'clock. Someone said, had Trump won, the vaccine side effects would have been a big deal in 2021. For sure. Here's the thing, though. Like, I feel like this either this is like perfect for them, or like imagine if he won and the liberals started talking about vaccine side effects to make him look bad. And then conservatives started defending. They would have been like, Trump, you think Trump would have ever admitted or something? Like he would be like, yeah, my vaccine saved the Spanish flu. There are no such thing as side effects. Okay. And like, whatever. It's like, my Trump impression sucks, but it's like, they probably purposely did this. I don't know this for sure, but it's like they probably did like liberals are going to do this, then conservatives are going to do this, then we're going to switch it, and people are going to be like, oh, I want it now. Oh, I don't want it now. Oh, I defend it. And Trump's like, if I was president, everybody would have wanted to get it. Like they probably did this purposely, because for sure, if Trump was president, they would have talked about the side effects. He would have defended it. You know, they would have not wanted to get it. They would, but that's why they didn't give you Donald Trump, probably because they are in bed with big pharma. So why would they give you a guy and then fight against their own agenda? Trump did everything they could possibly want. Trump pushed their agenda, lockdown, $1 trillion, Operation Warp Speed. All right, puppet Trump, you did your job. Get the hell out of the way. Well, what can I do something before I leave office? You know, isn't there something I can do? It's like, yeah, go make a Capitol event and go set your supporters up to get arrested by the feds. Okay, I'll go do that. Like, I'm not saying that's what happened. I'm not claiming it was like planned, but it's like, I don't know. Yeah, like why? It seemed like perfect for them. It's like, okay, Trump does everything they want to do. Like, think about this. And I'm not saying this was planned. I'm just saying, like, if you think about this logically, and I say this and people get so mad, like they feel like it's a personal attack. And I tell them, I'm with you. I'm including myself in this equation. Okay. If Hillary Clinton or Joe Biden or Obama tried to lock the country down, conservatives would not have done it. Or okay, Republicans would not have done it. I wouldn't have felt as comfortable with it. I'm not going to lie and act like the first day it got confusing. So when Trump is up there and you like Trump, I'm not, people take it so personally. I'm like, I agree. I'm in this equation too. Like, I'm like, well, it's not Obama or Biden or Hillary. It's like Trump. So like, maybe he has a plan, right? We're all like, I'm not saying he's got this huge plan, but he might have some plan. So everybody felt more comfortable with the lockdown because of Trump. Trump was the perfect president for a lockdown. There's no way in, and people get so mad when I say this, but it's not a diss. It's just the truth. There's no way Texas and Louisiana and DeSantis and all these people would have felt as comfortable locking down for a little bit if it were Hillary Clinton telling them to lock down. It would have felt like a trap. But with Trump, it didn't feel that way, you know, because Trump is more trustworthy to libertarians and conservatives. That's not a diss. That's just how I feel myself too. I would have looked at it a different way if Mitt Romney or Obama did it, because I don't trust them. I trusted Trump more. Okay, so they locked down with Trump. He does Operation Warp Speed. He does all these, and it just, and then I'm trying to talk about it. And this was the thing during 2022. I was people were like, why didn't you say it in 2020? I did thousands of times. And I got the same response now. You know what people told me in 2020? They said, just wait till the election. So the whole year when I was talking about all this stuff, people said, Anomaly, shut up. Trump needs to win the election. You know, Biden, we need to beat Biden. So nobody cared about it, whether it was the left wing with George Floyd riots or the right wing with the election. Nobody wanted to talk about the present moment of what the hell was going on. Okay, so that was another perfect 5 months. George Floyd riots, election. Nobody wants to address the issue because there's a big election coming up and it could change, right? Although both parties were doing it, but nobody wants to talk about it. Okay, so then we get to the election and the perfect thing happens. It's not over. It's not over till January. So now, once again, I said after the election, can we please, this was me in March, April, May, June, July, August. After the election, can we please talk about medical tyranny, please? Because it's affecting every state and it's affecting the airlines and it's going across all states and nobody wants to really address it. And people said, well, Anomaly, the election's not over. And I was like, oh my goodness, what an amazing coincidence that Now the thing that everybody told me that they wanted to wait for isn't over. So then there's 3 months, and I'm even like, okay, well, maybe Donald Trump has a trick up his sleeve, right? I wasn't anti-Trump. I actually believe that him and these people like Sidney Powell, maybe they had some evidence. I'm open-minded. I'm like, let's give them some time, right? I'm a patient guy. I'm not going to say it's over. I'm like, no, give Trump all the legal avenues to see what he could do. I was on his side. Okay. So then he starts going Moderna. Every day he's selling the vaccine. That's why I stopped trusting him. I was like, bro, it's one thing if you sell it once or twice. He sold it like 15 times. I'm like, bro, you're worse than these cringy pharmacy ads on television. So I kind of tuned out. Okay. And then January 6th happened. Is this not the perfect event for Joe Biden? This isn't the perfect event for MAGA. This did nothing for conservatives. This did nothing for Republicans. This did everything the Biden administration could possibly want. It gave them an event to take light away from the George Floyd riots, but more importantly, call right-wingers terrorists and use it as justification to spy on them, to call them, to show up at their house, the feds. And now there's this perfect event for the left wing that they have this political, fuel and ammunition for the next years to come. So that's what Trump did, whether he knew it or not, before he got out of office. Now he's out of office. Like you said, if he was in office, they'd be talking about side effects and how the vaccine was rushed. But now Biden's into office, and now they're talking about mandating and how great it is. I'm not saying they planned this. I'm not saying that this was orchestrated, but is this not the perfect scheme to screw over both sides and confuse everybody into supporting their own demise? The conservative Republican outsider president who locks the country down, who Republicans trust because he seems like a trustworthy guy, with the QAnon conspiracy. I'm not going to say conspiracy theory, it's a stupid word, but the QAnon hypothesis or theory of martial law is a good thing. So you have millions of patriots who'd normally be against martial law were brainwashed into thinking it was a great thing through a 4chan or 8chan message board and telling people, just relax, patriots, don't worry about the lockdown. This is what we've been planning all along. And then you have Trump supporters saying, give them 15 days, give them 30 days, give them 50 days, give them 100 days, give them till November, give them till January, give them 2024. Is this not the perfect plan? I couldn't script, and this is what I'm saying. I'm not saying it's scripted. I'm not saying it's planned. I'm not saying it's orchestrated. I'm not saying Trump's in on it. But if I were to write a script, how could you fool both parties into locking down, funneling money to big pharma, mandating a vaccine, getting Republicans in trouble and on terrorist lists, and then handing the keys to Joe Biden? I couldn't have possibly written a better script to flip both sides. You got holistic moms defending vaccines. You got, who hate vaccines. You got liberals who didn't want the vaccine, loving the vaccine like 5 months ago. You got conservatives defending lockdowns and universal basic income. I couldn't have possibly written a better script on how to fool both sides. So either they're the luckiest people on the planet. Well, anomaly, if Trump was president, they probably would have been talking about this. I agree. That's why he's probably not president, because I couldn't have scripted something as good as this. So either they're the luckiest people on the planet, or we're just being fooled. And I'm not saying that's that, because I'm not trying to start a theory, but I'm like, they couldn't have done it any other way. I don't think Hillary could have locked down Texas. I don't think Obama could have locked down Texas. I don't think Buttigieg, excuse me. I almost said Pete Butt Plug, but that would have been a random and not purposeful error. Pete Butt Plug. None of these people could have locked the country down. Only Trump could have gained support from conservatives and libertarians. And there's only one theory I've ever heard. People get so mad at me, but listen, I've listened to, Bill Cooper, Alex Jones, David Icke, Robert Anton Wilson, like Illuminati card game 40 years ago, Rothschilds, this and that, documentary, Zeitgeist. I've seen it all. You know what I'm saying? I've seen all. I was always looking at that, and I never said, oh my God, that's fake. I'm like, I'll consider it, but I don't believe everything I hear from conspiracy theorists, and I don't believe everything I hear from the news. That's how I always thought when I was younger. So I'd heard everything. Out of everybody who'd ever pushed conspiracy theories, not a single person ever said martial law was a good thing, because every conspiracy theorist or every conservative, theorist thought that martial law was bad because martial law meant that your government was now working against you. So there was never a single conspiracy theorist on the planet Earth that said that martial law was a good thing, because it's obviously not. I mean, you'd have to be like an idiot to think it was. I'm not trying to be mean, But along comes this new conspiracy theory that takes over the Republican Party. It's the biggest conspiracy theory in modern history. It's called QAnon, where they used pretty much, WikiLeaks reports and real things that were going on to brainwash people into thinking that martial law lockdowns were a good thing. And people can lie and say that they didn't believe that. But I had debates with Praying Medic, Jordan Sather, these people that were pushing QAnon. God bless them. But I did in 2019, 3 years ago. And they were talking about how great martial law was. Oh, it's so good. It's so great. It's going to be the day that the pedophiles get arrested. So they brainwashed a bunch of libertarians and conservatives into thinking martial law was a good thing, something that no conspiracy theorist ever thought because it's not true. So then something similar to martial law, not literally martial law, but lockdowns happened in March. And who do you think was the biggest opponent of my news reports? Who hated what I was saying the most? I can't believe it, but it was Republican QAnon Trump supporters who were like, Anomaly, shut up. Don't ruin the lockdown. This is to arrest the Vatican. This is to arrest Hillary Pelosi. And it's like, no, it's not, dummies. And these people hated my reports from March until April. They were lying about me, spreading fake information about me, trying to attack my character. Why? Because they thought martial law was a good thing. And they thought lockdowns were a good thing, because they got brainwashed into thinking that. So I can't think of a more perfect script in order to fool the right wing into supporting lockdowns, the left wing into losing their minds, the left wings from going to anti-vax to pro-vax in 3 months, and the right wing holistic moms who've been against vaccines their whole life supporting Operation Warp Speed, which is an $11 billion vaccine funding program that's protected under the PrEP Act, where they have no liability for side effects, injuries, or deaths. You can't script something. If you wanted to create you can't script something this good. That's why this is the greatest show on earth. The greatest show in the universe, if there's even a such thing as the universe. I'm not trying to be mean. Someone said bump stock's bad. Yeah. A lot of Second Amendment people got mad at Trump years ago with the bump stock thing. A lot of people who like guns, it's not going to be the majority of the country, but a lot of really big gun enthusiasts I've that have messaged me and said, bro, I stopped liking Trump when he banned bump stocks. To me, I don't think that much about bump stocks. I'm not a connoisseur of bump stocks, but to people that know a lot more than I do about guns, and they were like, some people drew the line there. I never said to them, you can't draw the line. I like that. I'm like, it's good to draw a line. That's why I don't get when people say to me, how dare you draw a line? I'm like, you should draw a line. You know what I'm saying? Like if a Second Amendment enthusiast draws a thicker line than me and says, Anomaly, this is where I drew the line, I say, good. I'm glad. Even though I didn't do that, I don't look at you and say you shouldn't have drawn the line. You should have trusted Trump. I've said, good. I love Second Amendment enthusiasts who did that, because it's like, we need more men to draw the line. And if I'm busy not paying attention, or I don't know that much about this, and you draw a line, I'm not going to look at you and be like, how dare you draw a line? For instance, Bryson Gray doesn't fly because he doesn't want to wear a mask. He draws a harder line than I do. That's a line that I don't draw. I go constantly from one side of the country to the other. Not constantly, but enough where it would take me 4 days to drive. And I hate wearing the mask, but that's the one time that I compromise. I'll never get a test. I'll never do this. I'll never get that. But I'm like, I will fly and do that. Bryson says, I'm driving everywhere. I'll drive across the country. I don't look at him and say, oh, no, don't. I'm like, that's amazing. That's awesome. I'm so glad that he does that. Like, I like when people take it even further than me and draw a harder line. It's like, it's weird. That's why I don't get when people are like, why did you draw a harder line than me? I hate you. You must work for the Democrats. Like, no, you draw a line. Pick a line on one of these issues that Republicans are flopping like a fish, and please draw a line. I would prefer that. Someone said a China man has never done me wrong. Here's what I'll say about China. Well, first of all, Chinese Americans, I want to compliment first. Chinese Americans, American citizens, work hard, don't commit a lot of crime, excel, usually teach their kids to be respectful. Asians in America, demographically, Chinese people, they're crushing, rightfully so. They're great parents and usually great community members. As far as the country of China, they are not um sneaky about how they feel about their country, the world, their economy and our country. Does it mean they're great? But no, they're our geopolitical enemy that doesn't pretend not to be, right? And I respect them for that. To me, everyone's like, well, they're doing, I'm like, they're like, it's like the Malcolm X, the wolf and the fox. They're the person that says, we're not your friend. We're not your geopolitical friend. Like, yeah, we'll do business together, but like, we want to beat you. They're straightforward about it. I respect them for that. Our own regime hates us more than China does. China probably looks at like American government and they're like, what the hell are you doing to your own people? I mean, they're not innocent either. They're pretty wicked and they go too hard, but like, in a weird way, I respect the person who tells me that they don't care about me more than the people like the liberal who claims that they're your greatest friend and they're secretly trying to destroy everything that you do. People talk about the Uyghur camp in China because they're mistreating Muslim Uyghurs over there, however you say that word. And Enes Kanter's talking about it, NBA player, and everyone's saying, oh my God, that's so amazing. Oh my God, he's talking about China. And to be honest, it is pretty cool to be in the NBA and talk about China. You got to have some pretty big balls. So I respect Enes Kanter for doing that. But here's the crazy part that I don't see anybody in the NBA talking about. Our own government is trying to do worse things to us than they're doing to Uyghurs. If you look at what they're doing to Uyghurs and what they're trying to teach Uyghurs in the re-education camps, it's the same thing they're teaching your children in government schools. The same thing that they're trying to brainwash the Uyghurs with is like similar stuff that they're doing. You get what I'm saying? It's like they're doing it, but also in America, if you don't want a pharmacy product for the rest of your life, if you don't want a lifetime subscription to Pfizer or Moderna, and you opt out at any point, they're trying to kill you. And I'm not trying to be mean or scare people. Like, God bless you, stay peaceful, stay faithful, it's all good. But if I try to block you from restaurants, gyms, jobs, gaining income, I'm trying to tax you more and charge you more when you go on vacations, and I'm trying to kick you out of doctors' offices and hospitals. What do you think liberals are trying to do to you in America? They're literally trying to kill you. And once again, stay peaceful, stay blessed. I'm not trying to, scare people or make people feel a certain way because that's not what I do. Stay calm, stay peaceful. But that's trying to kill you. Like, that's what they're trying to do in our own country. So my biggest fish to fry is not LGBT studies in Pakistan or what Palestine's doing to homosexual people or what Chinese people are doing to Uyghurs. My main concern is what America is doing to Americans. This is more wicked than even certain things they did 100 years ago to different ethnicities. Like, even back then, it was horrible. It was terrible. It was evil. Things were not right and complete, but it was like, okay, well, you could have this, and we're going to have this. And it's not to say it was right, but now they're like, you can't go to the hospital. You can't go to they're not saying, hey, we're going to have this section of the hospital for you and this section of the hospital for you. I mean, I don't even agree with that, but I'm just saying they're trying to kick you out of hospitals. They're trying to kick you out of doctors' offices. They're trying to eliminate you from their businesses. They're trying to make it illegal for any business in any state. So even back in segregation days, I'm not saying it was right. I'm not saying it was perfect. Obviously, there were crazy flaws with it, but they were like, you go here and we're going to go here. And yes, there were other problems. I'm simplifying it, but it was like, you go here, we go here. That's not what Biden's administration. He's not saying, hey, you go to Florida, we go here. They're saying, we don't even want you to do that in Florida. If they had it their way, the entire country would be doing this. So they're trying to kill people who didn't get the vaccine. They're trying to kick you out of hospitals, kick you out of doctors' offices, kick you out of restaurants, kick you out of gyms, kick you out of public events, kick you out of school, kick you out of society completely, make it nearly impossible for you to create a job. If you speak against it too much, they take you off of payment processors. What do you think? How everybody wants to talk about the Uyghurs in China? Talk about your own damn country. This is why I don't really mesh with a lot of these conservatives. Like, well, China's not your friend. They don't pretend to be your friend. Okay, China's got problems. We got problems. Our biggest problem in the world is not what China's doing to us economically. For sure, it's something to look at. It's definitely a big deal. I'm not saying to ignore it because eventually that could be ugly when they have more power than us if they don't already. But the number one threat to Americans right now is what they're doing to us right now. They're doing worse to us than what China's doing to Uyghurs. That's messed up. I would never do this. If people got the vaccine or if people disagreed with my medical, I would never kick them out of hospitals. I would never kick them out of spas. And I mean, that's how you hurt somebody. That's how you make somebody weaker. That's how you make someone poorer. That's how you make someone potentially fatter if they can't exercise. So it's like they're trying to weaken and hurt you. So why, you know what I'm saying? Like, oh, there's an NBA player talking about China. It's like, okay, where are the NBA players talking about America? Like, it's not easy to talk about China in the NBA, but it's probably easier to talk about China in the NBA and still keep your job than it is to not wear a mask on the sidelines. You know, it's like, whoa, or do you know? It's like it's crazy. So I just hope people are taking it seriously. Once again, stay calm, stay peaceful. I'm not trying to hype people up, but it's like they're going on this path. It's not like, oh, too shy. They're the fact that they're trying to like not let people into hospitals, that's happening right now in certain areas. In Louisiana, one of the bigger healthcare systems. Let me just Google this and then I gotta go. I got a meeting in a second, but thank you guys for hanging out. Let me just Louisiana biggest health unvaccinated. I gotta just see what they're doing real quick in Louisiana. Yeah, let me see. Well, this is Louisiana's health system to charge fees to uh, i- fees to people who don't get the vaccine, so they're charging more, I guess. Let me see. Hospitals not allowing vaccine. Well, I could spend too much time, but in general, as far as where it's going in America, it's escalating in certain places and others not. But I know in Austria, they're trying to do just a lockdown of the unvaccinated. So they're trying to like abuse the. It's like this is the route they're going on. I hope that someone said the video keeps freezing. That's all good. But this is the route they're going on, folks. So that's where I wish we had more people that focused on that. But God bless you guys. I appreciate it. I'll hang out for like 2 or 3 more minutes and on a positive note. Someone said, will there be free healthcare in the gulag? Probably not. Probably, but it's not the healthcare you're going to want. Someone said, Big Mac said, ports in LA, Long Beach account for 40% of American imports. These ports operate at like 338 and 342 out of 350 ports. We are in bottom 5% port operations. I could see it. I could literally see all the boats. Like there's more and more all the time. Are they purposely doing this? Like my thoughts are like they're purposely doing this, right? It's not hard to get the manpower if they wanted to, right? It's got to be either local, state, or federal government purposely sabotaging the ports because you could see it. They're everywhere. I could look and just see like 30, 40 cargo ships all the time. It sucks. Someone said Long Beach port owned by China. We get a lot of stuff from China. We get a lot of goods and stuff. It would definitely help to have a president that wasn't so pathetic. I get why people want Trump back. I know even though he did all this stupid stuff last year, he's clearly somebody who at least seems like he wants to help this country and seems like he cares and he says a lot of the right stuff and he even does some stuff to help us. Where Biden, it seems like they're just purposely doing everything to not do it and using like nothing as leverage. But we'll see. I do think in a weird way, Democrats have this weird. I'm going to end on this note, and I don't know this for sure, but it seems to me like Democrats have this like this thing where like they lie so much, like oh they do it to get power, and then when they get power, they like scramble to figure it out. Like they're like, oh, we're going to defund the police, but they don't really want to defund the police, so they say they're going to do all this stuff. They like screw up their city, and they're so desperate for power, and once they get power. Then like the mayor of New York, they're like, oh yeah, we're not, we can't actually do that. We got to like actually fund the police. And, and then all the progressives get mad at them. So I feel like with Biden, I feel like they don't like China as much as people think. I think I don't know if compromise is the right word. I'm sure a lot of people would say so, but like, I don't think he's as strong as Trump, clearly not. But like, if you look at George Soros, he does not like China. Like they're actually battling China. Google that. Like he supports the Hong Kong protests. Like they're having these little beefs with China. It's not the same as Trump probably, but they just do these things to get into power. They'll do anything to get into power. Take money, do this. And then they get into power and now they're floundering to like fight off because they understand like I'm sure that the Biden administration doesn't want to get swallowed up by China. I'm not saying that he has the capability to fight them, but they do things like that. Like, do you guys get what I'm saying? I don't know if it's coming off like clearly, but it's like defund the police. How many Democrats really want to do that? They just say they want to do that and they compromise and screw up the city. Then they get power and then they're scrambling to figure out how to not do that because they realize it's a bad idea. I feel like there's little battles and like little like power things going on that people don't see, but I don't I don't know. Someone said Soros isn't really fighting China. Honestly, I don't, not in the same way that Republicans are, but you got to understand when it comes to certain powerful people, they're not as loyal to each other as you think. So, like, say a billionaire does something with a country or something, it doesn't, I don't think they have as much loyalty as you think. Like, everybody thinks certain people are like this. Yeah, they're definitely doing certain things together, but I do think at a certain point, certain people want to be on top. At the end of the day, there's going to be certain people that they want to be higher than this person. So maybe they'll strike a deal or they'll do something that's similar. But at the end of the day, honestly, I think he wants his agenda over China. And I can't speak specifically, but China has this like national communism sort of thing, like national, we are China, we are Chinese, we are going to crush. And Soros doesn't really have loyalty to Chinese people, to be honest. I don't think so. I think he's more like, I want Open Society Foundation. I want like global order of, liberty and what I mean, you get what he's doing, Open Society Foundation. But I don't specifically think that he wants what China wants. And I don't think China wants what he wants. Me personally, I want neither of them. I don't want national Chinese communism to take over my country, and I don't want global open society communism to take over my country. So that's where I'm at. I don't like these people. Maybe they're not fighting each other, but in some ways, I feel like they kind of are battling a little bit because they have two different systems, and I don't want to. Like, they both sound terrible to me, but I don't think they're the same. But who knows? I don't know. That's just when I look at certain things. Like, I'm like, yeah, they're. I don't think the Chinese government specifically, I don't think the Chinese government wants anybody to have more power than them. I think they're like, we got this. And then there's certain billionaires like, no, we got this. And then they're like, so someone said there's no honor among thieves. That's a great way to put it, Thai Nation. We'll leave it at that because I think that line said it better than me. I'm trying to explain it. But then people are like, he's shilling for these. I don't like either of these systems. I'm just saying sometimes there's things going on behind the scenes, but who knows? I don't really know that much. God bless you guys. God bless your family. God bless America. God bless the world. If you ordered a God is great sweatshirt, a God is great long sleeve, or a God is great or a Stay Blessed long sleeve, all of those are shipping out today and yesterday. So you should check your tracking order. Hopefully you're going to get them soon. And the Dream Rare hoodies will be in within the next 5 days or so, and then we'll ship those out. But I already started shipping 3/4 of the new stuff on the pre-sale. It's all shipping out. Appreciate y'all. Have a good day, and I'll be back soon. Thanks for hanging out. Hopefully I'll have a video by the end of the day.